In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live. And we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website if you want to engage in the content. Here's how it works. We start off on Instagram Live. So go follow me on Instagram. I'm Livin' Low Carb Man, Livin LOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live in the content, just like all my regulars are doing right now. Thanks for being here, you guys. If you missed the live, it's okay. You can watch the replay for up to 24 hours on Instagram. But then after 24 hours, it does disappear. So pop on over to YouTube if you missed any of the past episodes. Type in Jimmy Rants as a keyword search. You will find the show. You can also do that in Google and find the past episodes. And then finally, we have a Jimmy Rants podcast, which has the best of the best moments of this here show, JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants is all about an employer healthcare mailer. So those of you that are still in the workforce and your employer provides you healthcare, the health insurance, a lot of times these employers will have these little mailers that will go out to everybody in the plan of how to be healthier. And so one of my Jimmy Rants fans sent me, or first she wrote to me and said, "You're never going to believe what my employer is saying, my employer healthcare plan is saying about keto." I was like, "What are they saying?" So she sends me this whole email that she got from the healthcare that the employer provides for her. And it explains about how keto's really popular. Maybe you've heard about it. Here are some of the benefits that you might be able to get from it if you go keto. But then they listed 10 warnings all about keto. So that's what I want to talk about here today, because I got them printed out for you guys. This employer healthcare education mailer offering these 10 warnings about keto. And what I wanted to see was if any of them had any veracity. Number 1, cardiovascular complications. So, of course, they're looking at high cholesterol levels, which you guys know from me talking on these Jimmy Rants quite often, that high cholesterol is not, in and of itself, is not a cardiovascular risk. It's not. High cholesterol is totally meaningless in your health. High triglycerides means something very bad. Low HDL means something very bad. But a high total and a high LDL cholesterol really doesn't mean anything in your health. And yet, this healthcare mailer from an employer healthcare education piece says that there are cardiovascular complications that come from keto. No, they're not. There's none. In fact, keto does a lot of good things for your heart health. It lowers those triglycerides. It raises good HDL cholesterol. It lowers inflammation levels. These are all very good things for your heart. So, cardiovascular complications? Nope. Number 2, the lack of longevity. The longest living people on the planet eat the most carbohydrates. Okay, there's no way for them to actually study that. And here's what I want to look at. Longevity is one thing. How did you live in those years? A lot of the plant-based people want to say, well, we lived the longest. Yeah, it probably just felt longer because you were so hungry. But no, there's no veracity to this whole idea of a lack of longevity with a ketogenic diet. Keto is going to lower inflammation, lower insulin. Basically, it's an anti-aging diet, so I don't know how it would limit your longevity. They don't go into this other than cultures all around the world eat carbohydrates and they live the longest. Okay, I guarantee you the people in America that have not been exposed to some of these other cultures around the world, people in America that eat the most carbs are the ones that live the shortest. I can almost guarantee you that. Because most of the carbs that are consumed in this country are of the refined, sugary, grainy kind, maybe not the real whole foods that these other countries around the world have been eating for their entire lives and then for generations in their families. So they don't have the same challenges that we have here in America. All right. Ah, crud. I'm missing number 3. So we're going to have to skip number 3. I don't have that one here. Some reason number 3 did not print out. Number 4, mineral deficiencies and dehydration. Mineral deficiencies. If you're on a keto diet, you will get dehydrated and you'll deplete all of the electrolytes in your body. This gives you symptoms of fatigue, constipation, and nausea. Do they ever hear of a keto dieter replenishing those things? So they act like you lose water, you lose minerals, but you can't replenish those in the foods that you consume, in real salt that you consume, in water that you're replenishing your body with. Some of these things are laughable. If you're just joining us, I had one of the Jimmy Rants fans, they wrote to me and they said, my employer sent out this healthcare education piece. It was a mailer and it offered up 10 warnings all about the ketogenic diet. And so we're going over those 10 warnings. So far we've had cardiovascular complications, lack of longevity. I missed number 3. For some reason it's missing here. But number 4, mineral deficiency and dehydration. None of these are valid reasons to not go keto. Number 5, other deficiencies. You're not getting enough greens in your diet. What? You can get all the greens in the diet that you want. It's so funny to me. They want to talk about deficiencies, and yet nobody ever worries about a standard American dieter getting deficiencies. What about the low-fat dieter who has fat deficiency? Because a lot of low-fat dieters aren't absorbing vitamins A, D, E, and K. They're just not. And yet, they want to put all the onus of deficiencies on keto. It's just stupid. Number 6, digestive issues because of the low fiber intake, causing nutrient absorption problems and microbiome deficiencies affecting your health that go even beyond your bowels. I think they're grasping at straws, you guys, because anybody that has gone keto will tell you that their digestive system has gotten better. You know what's very disruptive to your digestive system? Sugar and grains. Sugar and grains, incredibly poor for the microbiome, incredibly hard on your digestive system. And yet they want to blame keto for being problematic for your digestion? Come on. Number 7, hard to stick to. They did a meta-analysis that found people can't do the diet. Most of you watching this right now are on a ketogenic diet. What, pray tell, would keep you from doing this diet? What is it that's hard to stick to? To me, it is the best diet to stick with because you actually get to eat foods that, I don't know, taste good. And so if the food tastes good, doesn't that make compliance that much better? So this whole notion of it's hard to stick to, okay, maybe in the early days, the first few days when you're getting keto adapted and you're coming from a very high carb diet intake and it's painful when you're trying to shift from being a sugar burner to being a fat burner. But once you're in fat burning mode and you get to eat real whole foods, you get to eat high fat foods, tasty foods, what is hard to stick to about it? We have bacon. They have turkey bacon. Which would you prefer? Number 8, rapid weight gain. Keto, when you go off of it and back to carbs, will lead to a rapid weight gain. Well, there's an answer for that. Don't go back to the carbs. It's so funny to me. They treat it like a diet. Like, okay, I'm going to get on this, and then I'm going to get off this and go back to the way I was eating, and you're going to gain all the weight back. Duh! So that's why we say keto is not a diet, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle change. A lifestyle change that you stick with. So, of course, if you go off the diet, you're going to have rapid weight gain. How is that a problem of keto? Because if you go off keto, you're no longer keto, so you can't blame weight gain on keto. Number 9, insomnia, mood, and hormone changes. You have interferences with neurotransmitters, hormones like serotonin and melatonin that mess with your mood and your digestion and your sleep and what hogwash. I'm about one of the most happy-go-lucky people you've ever met, and I give credit to keto for that. My mood is very positive almost 99% of the time. I have no problems whatsoever because the fats that are in the keto diet are fueling the brain. And that fueling of the brain keeps you calm. That fueling of the brain gives you robust brain health, robust mood. Now, as far as this whole idea of insomnia, I don't know what they're talking about. I sleep pretty soundly. I'm able to track that, and I do fine in my sleep. So I'm not sure what that's about. I do know I can get less sleep because my body has less repair to do because I'm not feeding it crap anymore. And as far as hormonal changes, it's all good stuff. I'm currently testing keto carnivore, and I'm testing things like testosterone to see what changes are happening. And you bet that this is a great way to make hormone health better, not worse. Finally, number 10, if you're just joining us, we're talking about these 10 warning signs all about keto that was in a fan of Jimmy Rants. She sent this to me and said, my employer healthcare provider, they provided this education piece. So they had these 10 reasons why you don't want to do keto. Number 10, suboptimal athletic performance and muscle loss. There are no professional athletes on a strict ketogenic diet because they know carbs are a more efficient fuel for your body. If you exercise, you're going to need to do it on a keto diet, but your body will need carbs at some point to be able to adapt for endurance. Okay. Obviously, they have never heard of Professor Tim Noakes, who wrote the book on endurance athletics called The Lore of Running. And when he wrote that book, he was a carb burner. He was all about the carbs. And the man in 2010 changed his mind. And he said, you know what? That was hogwash. I don't believe that anymore. You can fuel your body just fine without carbohydrates with the fat and protein that you consume. In fact, very efficiently. And a lot of these studies that have been done of a ketogenic diet, they look at fuel partitioning. When someone goes to a race, they have the little Gatorade cups and the little goos and gels and things that they have to drink all along the way. Because when you're a sugar burner, you only have about 2,000 calories worth of energy on your body, and then you've got to replenish. Guess how many calories worth of energy you have when you are a fat burner? Even of the most leanest of lean person, that person has about 70 to 100,000 calories worth of energy. And so which would you prefer? 2,000 calories, which you have to keep replenishing, and if you're an endurance athlete, eventually bonking if you don't get enough carbohydrate? Or would you rather be keto and you can have some nut butter, maybe some MCT oil, different things during the race, but you're able to go very long periods of time and you never bonk? It's the anti-bonk diet for endurance athletes. So all of these things that this healthcare provider is trying to educate about keto, they've gotten it dead wrong. So if your employer tries to pull this crap and tries to give all these reasons why you should not do keto, I want you to look at it closer. Does it pass your own smell test? Do you see some of these same things in mailers to you? If that ever happens to you, please send it to me. I definitely want to help, especially if you have one that's of concern to you. None of these convince me that keto is necessarily a bad thing. But I want to see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for being here on this Jimmy Rants here today. Hello, hello. Thanks for being here. Keto Neogenesis Beth, oh boy, cortisol rising just reading the pin post. Yes. Good rant this morning. We can use that to talk to every naysayer, not just our doctors. That's true. Thank you for that. Definitely go back and watch that one if you missed it. Do we want to worry about small versus large LDL particles? Jesse, yes and no. I don't worry about anything, but you're trying to make the preponderance of your LDL particles the large fluffy kind and minimizing the small dense kind. And if your triglycerides go below 100 and your HDL goes above 50, then you will have a preponderance of mostly large fluffy LDL. They're not talking about that. When they brought in the cardiovascular risks in this article, they were just talking about total cholesterol and LDL-C. Those are totally meaningless when it comes to your heart health. Cholesterol is protective, says Lady Klingon. Exactly. That's exactly right. They are parroting all the other BS that's out there. Sadly, Lisa, yes. But they parrot it. People believe it. They embrace it. They go away. They stay away from keto, and they're not getting healthier. So I do these Jimmy Rants to correct the misinformation and to put good information out there so people can make a solid choice about what's right, because it can get confusing and overwhelming for some people, and I'm here to try to help them cut through the muckety-muck. We will just outlive the plant-only folks, says Lady King Klingon. Then the young ones will have the proof to change back to little to no processed crappy garbage. Yeah. Watch out for coffee causing salt and mineral depletion, says Robert Sims. Yeah, it's a diuretic as well, so it does suck water out of your body too. So make sure that you're replenishing the hydration with that as well. Each of these points is laughable. I agree, Beth. I hope this video on YouTube will reach those who were warned. Well, that's why I do these videos, Kat. I have a heart for trying to get this education piece out to people. They're not hearing this in the mainstream. And if it takes some internet podcaster, YouTuber, Instagrammer to get the message out, then that's what we're going to do. Put a pinch of salt in your coffee. It can deplete, but that's an easy and delicious way to balance it. Oh, cool. Insurance companies need us to stay sick. Actually, AK Bonbon, if an insurance company wanted to maximize their profits, the best way they could do that is to advocate for the healthiest possible diet so that the people that they insure don't have to use the healthcare system. What better business strategy for an insurance company would there be than to push something like a ketogenic diet, and then those people never have to go see the doctor? They get all those premiums, never have to pay out claims. To me, it's a no-brainer for them to be pushing keto, not this anti-keto bull funky. No digestive issues since going keto here, says Crystal. Yeah. Sometimes people might get some indigestion and things from certain foods or MCT oil or certain things like that that might cause, digestive disturbance like that. But for the most part, keto foods, you're removing all of the agitators in the gut, grain, sugars, that kind of thing. And so you're able to see great digestion when you do that. We're not constipated enough, or we might not have enough yeast in our gut, says Robert Sims. Totally grasping at straws. Clearly they've rented those big words because it's clear they don't know what they're talking about. That's true, Beth. Hard to stick to. Are you kidding me, says Dory. See, Dory knows. Dory's out there teaching every single day, and it's not hard, is it? Send it back to them with bacon grease stains on it, says Grandma Does Keto. It's not a bad idea. That's funny. Why should they bother with this communication? I don't know. I don't know. Other than being paid by the pharmaceutical companies. That's the only thing I can think of, that these insurance companies are maybe tied somehow to the pharmaceutical companies who would stand to lose business if they pushed keto. So they're like, hey, do this education piece about keto being this bad thing so people will stay on our drugs. That's the only thing I can think of. Keto is the easiest, most delicious way of eating ever. It really is, Crystal. I used to be the queen of walking farts. TMI, Beth, TMI. Like clockwork every day by 4 p.m., I could barely contain the bloat and gas because of all the crap, right? Sugar is easy to stick to, LOL, says Mark. Yeah, so if keto is hard to stick with, I guess sugar is easy to stick with. To me, fat and protein is very easy to stick with because you're not having all of those walking farts at 4 p.m., going to the snack machine at 2:30, 3 o'clock, about ready to fall over because you're in a coma from your lunch. I don't miss any of that stuff. And then to be able to go long periods of time without eating and naturally fasting, there's no better way to eat, and it's extremely easy. Magnolia says, no hunger. I get to eat steak and not ever count calories. Why is this difficult? Right. Nothing is hard to stick with or deprivation here. Love keto, says Ashton. Pretty darn easy. Any diet you go off of, you'll gain. That's right, BB. That was a funny one. When you go off of keto, you rapidly gain weight. Really? I had no idea that's what would happen. And yet that's a keto side effect? No. Come for the weight loss, stay for the brain benefit, says Thriving on Fat. Yeah, I think a lot of people, they start with keto as a weight loss diet, and then they realize, oh my gosh, I'm not grouchy anymore. I'm not moody anymore. I can recall things. My brain health is just thriving. It's pretty spectacular. Keto should come with a warning: leads to uncontrollable health, massive lifestyle change, increased health and longevity, says Grandma Does Keto. Yes, that's a good one. I sleep less but better quality, says Dory. I think a lot of us do. I used to probably sleep 8.5 to 9 hours when I was a carb burner. And now that I'm a sugar burner, I can get anywhere from like 6.5 to about 7.5. Unless I'm really, really tired, I'll sometimes get 8. But most of the time it's 6.5 to 7.5 hours. And I'm completely refreshed, ready to take on the day. Whoever wrote that must be fat deprived or linguine for brains. So, or paid for by pharmaceutical companies. Who knows? Coffee late in the day can cause insomnia. Yeah, it could. It sure enough could. There is a guy that runs an ultra marathon, 100 miles on keto. Yeah, Alberto, several have done that. I've had them on my podcast. Most recently, Zach Bitter is an ultra marathoner. Timothy Allen Olson is another one. Both of those guys have been on the Living La Vida Low Carb show talking about running an ultra marathon in pretty much a fully keto adapted state. So you don't need carbs. You don't need to load up on the carbs, the big plates of pasta and all that. And because they're doing it fat adapted, they're able to recover quicker as well after the race. So it's pretty amazing. There are pro athletes loving the keto way of life. Crystal, I agree. I know LeBron James very famously went on a ketogenic diet one summer a few years back. Some of the Olympic athletes, they're not going to give away their trade secrets, guys. So they won't go, oh yeah, I'm all about keto. They don't want their fellow competitors to know their advantage. So they're not going to talk about it necessarily in an open fashion. I know the LA Lakers several years ago, their team doctor was Dr. Kate Shanahan. Kate is a ketogenic doctor, and she had them all eating keto. I'm not sure if she's still the team doctor or not, but she was one of the advisors to their nutrition plan, and they were eating a low-carb, high-fat diet. Go look it up, Lakers diet, and you'll find it. Do you really think discouraging keto is the insurance industry's way to keep people unhealthy and medicated? I do not. I don't think that. 3 cheers for keto. But it makes you wonder, why would they promote an anti-keto? Why would they do that? They have every advantage in the world to promote a ketogenic diet, like I mentioned earlier, because keto people stay healthy. They get all the premiums from the keto people. They don't have to pay out claims. That's profitability there. So it makes no sense for them to be pushing anti-keto. They should be pushing keto and shouting it from the mountaintops. This education piece sounds like it was written by a carb addict. Mark, it had to. It definitely was not somebody that understands anything about nutritional ketosis. I can name a dozen keto athletes off the top of my head. Yeah, there's a bunch of them that are out there. Athletic performance goes high right to the sky with keto, scary high. That could be a valid warning. Yes, thank you, Kat. Kimberly, the crap in that document was written by someone scarfing down the new box of Peeps cereal. There's a Jimmy Rants fan. Thank you, Kimberly. I will continue fueling my body with the keto way. Can't wait until the new update saying we were wrong. Yeah, keep waiting on that one. That will probably not happen. Hashtag death care provider, says Dory. Yes, this is death care, not health care. That is for sure. I'm not the first to say this, but your face is reverse aged with this keto carnivore. Thank you, Jesse. I feel good. And yeah, I've gotten a lot of benefit out of this. More on that coming soon. This healthcare education brought to you by Kellogg, says Alberto. I used to work at a hospital, wouldn't trust that they have my best interest in health, considering our cancer center had donut day every Thursday for the patients having chemo. That is crazy, Magnolia. So crazy. Insurance companies could save a ton of money if they just suggested keto. That's what I'm saying, Crystal. I think so too. I'm off 2 antacid medicines plus off Mobic daily for joint pain, says Angie. Yeah, because you're getting healthier. You're getting healed. Good job. Doctors would be unemployed if everyone ate keto. No, Susan, there would still be a need for doctors because people are still idiots. And they get into accidents where they break bones and cut themselves and would need help from the mainstream medicine. But as far as chronic diseases, you're right. There would be no need for all of the things that we do now with type 2 diabetes, with heart disease, maybe even with some cancers. It would be so much different, the healthcare model, if everybody decided to embrace at least some kind of an insulin-lowering diet, whether that's keto or whatever would make insulin go lower. I think that would be helpful. If you have a general question, Kelly, if you could drop me an email or a message here on Instagram, my email address, livinglowcarbman@charter.net. And you can just drop me a DM here on Instagram. This is a show called Jimmy Rants that I do. So we're talking about this employer healthcare education mailer, giving these 10 warning signs. That's the general question you asked. I'm more than happy to help, but not right this second. Just listen to your chat with Andres on Living La Vida. Thank you. Thank you, Keto and Juliet. I don't go off keto because I'll gain weight. Yeah, most of us would gain weight and see our health go in decline, Beth. Stay on keto to stay optimum in your weight and health. I agree. I'm 45 years old, lost 40 pounds in 2 months, been doing keto for about a year or over a year. No more depression or anxiety, no eczema, no more meds, no gym, no supplements. Due to this healing diet, someone is losing a whole lot of money, says A-Rod. See, you're the antithesis of what they're trying to communicate here. You're not supposed to be doing this very dangerous diet, A-Rod. And yet your health is better. Novak Djokovic is gluten-free. That's right. I'm guessing he's pretty low carb. He is super fit. Yeah, I don't know that he's necessarily keto, but Joker is definitely an example of how his performance has gotten better since he's gone gluten-free. I can't wait to hear more about your carnivore journey. So, Keisha, listen to the Keto Hacking MD podcast this Friday, ketohackingmd.com. And John and I start talking about it the next 3 weeks. We'll be sharing my experience this Friday. Next Friday will be Dr. Sean Baker talking about this. And then 2 weeks from then, we will have the blood test results from it. So I'm really excited to share that. Seriously, last year during chemo, they always had donuts and chips. That is so crazy to me. I was a fat, sick, depressed, nutrition-obsessed vegetarian for 20 years, says Jax. 18 months keto, and all of that has changed. That's awesome. I'm very proud of you. By the way, Jax sent me what's going on in Canada, you guys, and coming up in a Jimmy Rants really soon, I'm going to talk about the nutrition guidelines that they have proposed for Canada, and it ain't pretty. So full-on Jimmy Rants is coming, so thank you for that, Jax. We're going to get to that. Healthy Keto Chick, I operate an in-home daycare, and I'm supposed to feed the kids the USDA dietary guidelines. It's a big joke and full of carbs and sugar. Yep. So, guys, the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants is you're going to see a lot of little mailers from healthcare providers providing education pieces warning you all about keto. And when that happens, you smile, you eat a piece of bacon, and you tell them, that's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, we start off on Instagram. So go follow me there at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. And once you're there, you can engage live just like all my beautiful people did down here today. If you missed the live, it's all right. You can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours on Instagram. After 24 hours, it does disappear, so we pop them all over onto YouTube for you guys to partake in archive form. And then we also have a Jimmy Rants podcast where you can see the best of this here show, JimmyRants.com. So until next time, we'll see you then.